Welcome to the Brain Booster Podcast. In this podcast, our purpose is to explore the island of Guam and its culture, tradition, history, and all the interesting aspects of this island. In this episode, we will be discussing the history of Guam. We will delve into the island's past and its significance in the region. We will explore the island's unique heritage and how it has shaped the island into what it is today. We will also be discussing Guam's culture, tourism, economy, military presence, and future development in different episodes. We encourage you to join us on this journey as we discover the many interesting aspects of Guam. We kindly ask you to stay with us until the end as we uncover the beauty and diversity of this island, and help you to discover new things and perspectives. The island of Guam has a rich and diverse history, dating back thousands of years. The indigenous Chamorro people have lived on Guam for centuries, and the island has played a significant role in the region's history. In the early 16th century, the Spanish explorer Ferdinand Magellan was the first European to set foot on the island. He claimed it for Spain and named it Isla de los Ladrones, or Island of Thieves. However, the native Chamorros referred to it as Guahan, which means we have. The Spanish established a colony on the island in the late 17th century, and it became an important stopover point for Spanish galleons traveling between Mexico and the Philippines. The island served as a valuable base for the Spanish in their efforts to colonize and convert the indigenous population to Christianity. During World War II, Guam was captured by the Japanese in 1941, and it was the only American territory to be occupied by the enemy during the war. The island was liberated by American forces in 1944, after a fierce battle that left much of the island in ruins. Today, Guam is considered an unincorporated territory of the United States and is home to a diverse population of indigenous Chamorros, Filipinos, and other Pacific Islanders, as well as Americans and other expatriates. It is an important location for the U.S. military, with several bases on the island, and it is also a popular tourist destination known for its beautiful beaches, unique wildlife, and warm tropical climate. As you can see, Guam has a rich history and has played a significant role in the region's past. In this section of Brain Booster Podcast, we will be exploring the culture of Guam. Guam is a unique island with a rich and diverse culture, shaped by its history and the diverse population that calls it home. The island's culture is a blend of indigenous Chamorro customs, traditional practices, and beliefs, combined with influences from Spanish and American cultures. From traditional music and art, to festivals and customs, we will be delving into the island's cultural heritage and how it is celebrated today. The Chamorro people have a rich and unique culture, with a long history dating back thousands of years. Many of their traditional customs and practices are still prevalent today, and they play an important role in the community. One of the most important customs of the Chamorro people is the fiesta, which is a celebration of life and community. These celebrations usually include traditional music and dance, food, and religious ceremonies. The fiesta is a time for the community to come together and celebrate their culture and heritage. Another important aspect of Chamorro culture is the Anafamayalek, which means to make good in the Chamorro language. It's a traditional belief that emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with others and the environment. This belief is reflected in many aspects of Chamorro culture, including the way they treat their land, sea, and animals. Chamorro people also have a strong sense of community, and many traditional customs are centered around the family and extended family. They have a deep respect for their ancestors, and their culture is passed down through generations. As you can see, traditional customs of the Chamorro people are an important part of their culture and have a significant role in the community today. They are a way to preserve the heritage of the island and keep the island's unique culture alive for future generations. The island's music is a unique blend of indigenous drumming and chanting, combined with influences from Spanish and American cultures. The traditional music of Guam is centered around the ganeta, a type of drum that is played by striking the skin with sticks. The ganeta is used in many traditional ceremonies and celebrations, and it is considered an important part of the island's cultural heritage. Chamorro music also features a lot of chanting, which is usually accompanied by the ganada. The chants are usually in the Chamorro language and are passed down through generations. They are used to tell stories, express emotions, and communicate with the spirits. As Guam was colonized by Spanish, the island's music also has influences from Spanish music, such as the use of guitars and other instruments. With the presence of U.S. military on the island, American music also had an influence on the island's music, adding more diversity to the island's music scene. The island is known for its unique and beautiful traditional art forms, including weaving and carving. One of the most famous traditional art forms on Guam is the saihek, which is a type of weaving that is done using pandanus leaves. The saihek is used to make a wide variety of items, such as baskets, mats, and hats. It's a technique that has been passed down through generations, and it is considered an important part of the island's cultural heritage. Another traditional art form on Guam is carving. The island's carvers are known for their skill in creating intricate designs using various types of wood. Carvings are used to decorate houses and other buildings, as well as to create traditional weapons and tools. The significance of these art forms in the community is that they are not only a way to preserve the island's cultural heritage but also to pass down the skills and techniques to future generations. They are also a way for artists to express themselves and showcase their talents, and they are an important part of the island's economy through tourism. Despite the island's colonization and the influence of foreign cultures, many contemporary artists are keeping the island's traditional art forms alive and relevant. They are updating and adapting traditional techniques to create new and unique pieces, such as contemporary saihek textiles and modern wood carvings. The contemporary art scene in Guam is vibrant and diverse, with many artists creating works that reflect the island's unique culture and heritage. For example, some contemporary artists are taking traditional weaving techniques and using them to create modern textiles, and they are experimenting with different materials such as silk, cotton, and other fibers to create new and unique designs. They also create contemporary jewelry, bags, and other accessories with these techniques. Additionally, contemporary artists are also promoting traditional art forms through exhibitions and workshops. They are educating the community and visitors about Guam's traditional art forms, and they are giving people the opportunity to experience and learn about these art forms firsthand, such as traditional pottery, basketry, and carving. Contemporary artists and art forms are playing a crucial role in preserving and promoting Guam's traditional culture. They are keeping the island's art forms alive and relevant, and they are educating the community and visitors about the island's rich cultural heritage. They are creating beautiful and unique pieces that reflect Guam's diverse culture and heritage, and they are promoting these traditional art forms to a wider audience. They are not only preserving the traditional techniques, but also incorporating modern elements to create new and exciting works that appeal to a diverse range of people. This not only helps to preserve the island's traditional culture, but also helps to promote it to a new generation of art enthusiasts and collectors. Additionally, these contemporary artists are also playing a vital role in the island's economy by promoting tourism and providing an avenue for the sale of locally made traditional and contemporary art. Overall, contemporary artists of Guam are making a significant contribution to preserving and promoting the island's traditional culture and heritage through their unique and dynamic artworks. The island has a long history of welcoming visitors, dating back to the early days of the Spanish colony when it was a popular stopover point for Spanish galleons traveling between Mexico and the Philippines. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Guam began to attract a small number of American tourists. However, it wasn't until the 1950s that tourism began to take off in earnest, as the island became a popular destination for American servicemen and their families. The tourism industry continued to grow throughout the 1960s and 1970s, with the construction of new hotels and the development of the island's infrastructure. However, the industry faced a number of challenges, including the impact of the Vietnam War and the oil crisis of the 1970s, which led to a decline in visitor numbers. In the 1980s and 1990s, the island's tourism industry began to recover, and visitor numbers increased again. However, the industry was dealt a major blow in the 1990s when several airlines stopped flying to the island, leading to a decline in visitor numbers once again. In recent years, the island's tourism industry has seen a resurgence, thanks in part to the growing popularity of Asia as a tourist destination and the island's efforts to promote itself as a unique and exotic destination. However, the industry has been affected by recent events such as the COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to a decline in visitor numbers and a significant impact on the island's economy. Overall, the history of tourism in Guam is marked by periods of growth and decline, with the industry facing a number of challenges over the years. Despite these challenges, the island has remained an important destination for visitors, and the tourism industry continues to play a vital role in the island's economy. The island's tourism industry is a vital part of its economy, generating significant revenue and providing employment for many of its residents. Currently, the island receives around 2 million visitors per year, with the majority of visitors coming from Japan and South Korea. However, there has been a steady increase in visitors from other Asian countries and the United States. The island's tourism industry generates around $2 billion in revenue annually. The most popular types of tourism on Guam are beach and sun tourism, history and culture tourism, and adventure tourism. Visitors come to enjoy the island's beautiful beaches, explore its rich history and culture, and engage in activities such as hiking, snorkeling, and scuba diving. In recent years, the island's tourism industry has been working to promote sustainable tourism, which not only helps to protect the island's environment but also provides a more authentic and meaningful experience for visitors. This includes promoting eco-friendly activities, working with local communities to ensure that tourism benefits them, and encouraging tourists to learn about and respect the island's culture and heritage. Overall, the current state of the tourism industry in Guam is strong, with a steady increase in visitor numbers and revenue generated. The island's tourism industry continues to play a vital role in the island's economy and continues to work towards sustainable practices that not only protect the environment but also enhance the visitor's experience. The island offers a wide variety of activities and experiences for visitors to enjoy, from its stunning beaches to its rich history and culture. One of the most popular attractions on Guam is its beaches. The island is home to some of the most beautiful beaches in the Pacific, with clear blue waters, white sandy beaches, and excellent snorkeling and diving opportunities. Some of the most popular beaches on the island include Tuman Bay, Gun Beach, and Ritidian Beach. Another popular attraction on Guam is its historical and cultural sites. The island has a rich history, dating back thousands of years, and visitors can explore ancient ruins, such as the latte stones, which are unique to the island and are considered a symbol of the island's ancient culture. Visitors can also learn about the island's history by visiting historical sites such as the War in the Pacific National Historical Park, which tells the story of the island's role in World War II. Guam also offers a range of cultural experiences for visitors. Visitors can learn about the island's traditional customs and practices, such as the fiesta, which is a celebration of life and community, and the Anafa Mayalek, which means to make good in the Chamorro language. Visitors can also experience traditional music and dance and taste traditional Chamorro food. Tourism is a vital part of the island's economy, generating significant revenue and providing employment for many of its residents. However, like any industry, tourism also has its impacts on the island's economy, environment, and local community. Economically, tourism has a significant impact on the island. It is the largest contributor to the island's GDP and provides jobs for many residents. It also helps to diversify the island's economy, reducing its dependence on other industries such as military spending and agriculture. However, tourism also has a negative impact on the environment. The increase in visitors can lead to an increase in pollution, as well as damage to natural resources such as coral reefs and beaches. The island's tourism industry also has a significant impact on the local community, both positively and negatively. On one hand, tourism tourism provides employment and income for local residents, but on the other hand, it can also lead to overcrowding, an increase in crime, and the loss of cultural identity. The island's government and the tourism industry have been working to minimize the negative impacts of tourism by promoting sustainable tourism and working with local communities. This includes efforts to reduce pollution and preserve natural resources, as well as efforts to promote cultural heritage and education. Overall, tourism has a significant impact on the island of Guam, both positively and negatively. The island's economy, environment, and local community are all affected by tourism. However, the island is taking steps to minimize the negative impacts of tourism and promote sustainable tourism practices that protect the environment and preserve the island's cultural heritage. Sustainable tourism is a form of tourism that aims to minimize the negative impacts of tourism on the environment, economy, and local communities, while maximizing the benefits. Guam's tourism industry has been taking steps to promote sustainable tourism in recent years. One of the main efforts has been to reduce pollution and preserve natural resources. This includes efforts to reduce waste, promote recycling and energy conservation, and protect coral reefs and beaches. The island's tourism industry has also been working to promote cultural heritage and education by encouraging visitors to learn about and respect the island's culture and heritage, and by supporting local communities. Additionally, the island's government and the tourism industry have been working to promote sustainable tourism through the development of eco-friendly activities, such as hiking, snorkeling, and scuba diving, as well as eco-friendly accommodations, such as eco-lodges and camping sites. The effects of these efforts have been positive. The island's natural resources are being preserved, and the local communities are benefiting from tourism. Visitors are able to experience the island's culture and heritage in an authentic way, and they are also able to enjoy the island's natural beauty in a sustainable way. These efforts have helped to increase the island's reputation as a sustainable tourist destination. The tourism industry of Guam is making efforts to promote sustainable tourism, and its effects have been positive. The island is taking steps to minimize the negative impacts of tourism and promote sustainable practices that protect the environment and preserve the island's cultural heritage. This not only benefits the island's natural resources and local communities, but also enhances the visitor's experience, making it a win-win situation for all. In this section of the Brain Booster podcast, we will be examining the unique ecosystem of Guam and the efforts to preserve it. The island of Guam is home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, including many species that are found nowhere else in the world. One of the most notable aspects of Guam's ecosystem is its coral reefs. The island's coral reefs are home to a diverse range of marine life, including colorful fish, sea turtles, and dolphins. The coral reefs also play an important role in protecting the island's shoreline from erosion and storm damage. Another important aspect of Guam's ecosystem is its forests. The island is home to a range of forest ecosystems, including mangroves, coconut groves, and evergreen forests. These forests play an important role in protecting the island's watersheds and providing habitat for a wide range of wildlife. The island's government and various organizations have been working to preserve the unique ecosystem of Guam. This includes efforts to protect and restore coral reefs, and efforts to preserve and restore forests. These efforts include protecting vulnerable species, and educating the public about the importance of preserving the island's unique ecosystem. Overall, Guam's unique ecosystem is an important aspect of the island's natural heritage and is worth preserving. The island's government and various organizations are working to preserve the island's unique ecosystem by protecting and restoring coral reefs and forests, protecting vulnerable species, and educating the public. These efforts are crucial to ensure that future generations can enjoy the island's unique ecosystem. We will be delving deeper into the economy of Guam and the industries that drive it. The island's economy is diverse and has been growing steadily over the years, with a GDP of around $5.5 billion in 2020. The three main pillars of Guam's economy are tourism, military spending, and services. Tourism is the largest contributor to the island's GDP, generating around $2 billion in revenue annually. Visitors come to the island to enjoy its beautiful beaches, rich history and culture, and engaging activities such as hiking, snorkeling, and scuba diving. The industry provides jobs for many residents, including hotel and restaurant workers, tour guides, and transportation providers. The island's government and tourism industry have been working to promote sustainable tourism practices that not only protect the environment but also enhance the visitor's experience. The U.S. military also plays a significant role in the economy, with the U.S. military being the island's largest employer. The military presence on the island brings in significant revenue and provides jobs for many residents. The military also contributes to the island's economy through its purchases of goods and services from local businesses. However, the military presence also has a potential negative impact on the economy, as it can be affected by budget cuts or base closures. The services sector, including retail, finance, and healthcare, also plays an important role in the economy. The sector provides employment and income for many residents and helps to diversify the island's economy. The retail industry, in particular, is a significant contributor to the economy, with the island's large shopping centers and duty-free shops attracting many visitors. The government is working to diversify the economy and reduce its dependence on tourism and military spending. This includes efforts to promote new industries such as renewable energy, technology, and agriculture. The SLAN's government is also working to support small businesses and entrepreneurs by providing access to funding and resources. The government is also focusing on developing the island's infrastructure and providing education and training opportunities to the local population to increase the island's competitiveness in the global market. The impact of the military on the island of Guam and its residents. The U.S. military has had a significant presence on the island for over a century, and it continues to play a major role in the island's economy, politics, and culture. Economically, the military is the island's largest employer, providing jobs for many residents. The military also brings in significant revenue through its purchases of goods and services from local businesses, as well as through the construction of new facilities and infrastructure. However, the military presence also has potential negative impacts on the economy, such as budget cuts or base closures, which can lead to job losses and economic uncertainty. Politically, the military has a significant influence on the island's government and politics. The U.S. military is the island's largest landowner, and it plays a major role in shaping the island's foreign policy. Additionally, the military presence can also lead to conflicts over land use and ownership, as well as tensions between the island's government and the U.S. military. Culturally, the military presence has had both positive and negative impacts on the island's culture and heritage. On one hand, the military has played a role in preserving and promoting the island's cultural heritage through the establishment of historical sites and the support of cultural events and activities. On the other hand, the military presence has also led to the loss of traditional land and resources, as well as the displacement of local communities. In this section of the Brain Booster podcast, we will be discussing the current challenges and opportunities for the island's development. Guam is facing a number of challenges as it looks towards the future, including economic diversification, sustainable development, and political self-determination. Economically, Guam is facing the challenge of diversifying its economy and reducing its dependence on tourism and military spending. The island's government is working to promote new industries such as renewable energy, technology, and agriculture, but more needs to be done to attract foreign investment and create new job opportunities. Additionally, the island needs to address the high cost of living and lack of affordable housing, which are affecting the local population's quality of life. Sustainably, Guam is facing the challenge of balancing economic growth with environmental protection and cultural preservation. The island's government and various organizations are working to promote sustainable development practices, but more needs to be done to address issues such as pollution, climate change, and overdevelopment. Politically, Guam is facing the challenge of achieving self-determination. The island has been a U.S. territory for over a century, and its residents are U.S. citizens, but they do not have full voting rights and have limited representation in Congress. The island's government and various organizations are working to achieve greater self-government and autonomy, but more needs to be done to address issues such as political representation and self-determination. Despite these challenges, Guam also has a number of opportunities for the future. The island is strategically located in the Pacific, and it has the potential to become a hub for trade, transportation, and tourism. The island's government and various organizations are working to promote economic development, sustainable development, and political self-determination, but more needs to be done to address issues such as economic diversification, sustainable development, and political self-determination. In conclusion, Guam is facing a number of challenges as it looks towards the future, including economic diversification, sustainable development, and political self-determination. However, the island also has a number of opportunities for the future, such as becoming a hub for trade, transportation, and tourism, and more needs to be done to address the current challenges and take advantage of the opportunities for the island's development. Guam is home to a diverse and resilient population who have overcome many challenges and have made significant contributions to the island and its culture. One of the inspiring stories of Guam's residents is that of the island's Chamorro people who have managed to preserve their culture and traditions despite centuries of colonization and outside influences. The Chamorro people have managed to maintain their language, customs, and traditions, and they have also managed to incorporate new influences into their culture, such as the Spanish and American cultures. They have managed to create a unique blend of cultures, which is an important part of the island's heritage. Another inspiring story is that of the island's educators, who have been working to provide quality education to the island's children. The island's educators have been working to improve the quality of education and to provide children with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the 21st century. They have been working to provide children with access to new technologies, such as computers and the internet, as well as to provide children with access to quality education and training. The island's entrepreneurs and small business owners are also inspiring. They have been working to create new jobs and to diversify the island's economy. They have been working to create new products and services, such as renewable energy and technology, and they have been working to create new opportunities for the island's residents. Lastly, the island's healthcare workers and first responders are inspiring stories. They have been working to provide quality healthcare to the island's residents, especially during the pandemic, and have been working to keep the community safe and healthy. They have been working to provide access to quality healthcare and to provide access to new technologies and treatments. Guam is home to a diverse and resilient population who have overcome many challenges and have made significant contributions to the island and its culture. The stories of the island's Chamorro people, educators, entrepreneurs, small business owners, healthcare workers, and first responders are some examples of the inspiring stories of Guam's residents and their contributions to the community. These stories show the resilience and determination of the island's people and their contributions to the development of the island. In conclusion, we want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Brain Booster Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed learning more about the island of Guam and its history, culture, economy, environment, military presence, and future. We covered a lot of information in this podcast, so let's take a moment to recap some of the key takeaways. First, we learned about the history of Guam and its significance in the region. We explored the island's past, from its indigenous origins to its colonization by the Spanish and later the Americans. We also discussed the island's current political status as an unincorporated U.S. territory and the ongoing struggles for self-determination. Second, we delved into Guam's culture, including its traditional customs, music, and art. We discussed the traditional practices and beliefs of the Chamorro people and the significance of these traditions in the community today. We also explored the island's traditional music, including the indigenous drumming and chanting, and the influence of Spanish and American cultures on the island's music. We also discussed the traditional art of Guam, including the indigenous weaving and carving techniques, and the significance of these art forms in the community. Third, we talked about tourism in Guam, including the history of the industry, the current state of the tourism industry, and the popular attractions on the island. We also discussed the impact of tourism on the island's economy, environment, and local community, as well as the efforts of Guam's tourism industry to promote sustainable tourism. Fourth, we examined the island's unique ecosystem and efforts to preserve it. We discussed the island's environment and the challenges it faces, such as pollution, climate change, and overdevelopment. Fifth, we discussed the island's economy and the industries that drive it. We discussed the three main pillars of Guam's economy, which are tourism, military spending, and services. Sixth, we explored the impact of the military on the island and its residents. We discussed the economic, political, and cultural impacts of the military presence on the island. Lastly, we discussed the current challenges and opportunities for the island's development. We discussed the challenges that Guam is facing, such as economic diversification, sustainable development, and political self-determination, as well as the opportunities for the island's future, such as becoming a hub for trade, transportation, and tourism. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you learned something new about the island of Guam. We invite you to watch other videos on our channel and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest episodes of the podcast. Thank you for listening.